Hello everyone, welcome back to Android Studio session 2. I hope you all enjoyed session 1, and let's have a few previous recap of what we studied in session 1. First, I showed you how to access this Android Studio study jams and how to navigate through each pathway. Then I showed you about the basics of Kotlin and many more. So after now, let's start with session 2. In this session, I'll teach you about how to download and install Android Studio and also teach you about basics of Android. So let's get started with session 2. I'll share my screen right now. Okay. As I have previously told, basically Android study jams are community organized study jams which follow the curriculum provided by Google. And by the end of each session, you have by end of these Android study jams, that is by 25th of next month, you have to show me the badges which you received in your Google developer profile, and also you have to submit me the app which you developed through Android study jams. So the basics prerequisites, as I have said previously, are one computer, internet connection, and many more. First, let's have a short recap of basics of Kotlin, in which I taught in the previous session. As I have said previously, Kotlin is a modern programming language that helps developers to be more productive. And it is also to be noted that since 2017, more than 60% to now, more than 60% of Android developers have shifted to Kotlin. And the various benefits of Kotlin are it is expressive and concise, it has safer code, it is interoperable with Java, and it is also has structured concurrency. So first, let us get a proper recap. This is the basic function of Kotlin. Kotlin. In this, here the function this what does this code actually do? Here the fun word is a keyword which indicates a function. Main is used to indicate that it is a main function, and println is used to print hello world. So let's check if that is the output or not. And as I've said, the output for this program is hello world. So, like, what do you notice in this code? As I have said in previous session, like there are two types of print. One is print and println, and for this we have used println. In that means once hello world is printed, the cursor moves to the next line. And we have also discussed about various parameters and return types through functions. Here the fun, as I have said, fun is a keyword which is used to indicate function. Add is the name of the function. A is the first parameter of function add of integer data type. B is the second parameter of function add of integer data type. The return type of this function is a plus b. So basically this type of functions are the functions which have return type. So if you notice this function, we have a special name called unit in place of return type. Basically this is used whenever the function is of void type. Here, since we are not returning anything, the function is of void type, and we are telling the compiler that it is a void function by using this unit keyword. Okay. And we have also discussed about variables, and I have said that there are two types of variables. One is mutable variable and the other one is an immutable variable. Mutable variables are those whose values can be changed. So basically I have also told you that mutable variables are indicated with a var keyword, as you can see here, and immutable variables are those whose value cannot be changed, and they are only in read-only mode. Here, mutable variables are indicated using val keyword, as you can see here. That means that the Rebecca, the string name whose value is Rebecca, cannot be changed again, but the value of counter can be updated again and again. So that is the difference between var and val. Next, as I have already said in the previous slide, that var is a immutable variable. So here length is a mutable variable. Since it is indicated by a var, so value of length can be changed. Whereas val is an immutable variable whereas message is an immutable variable because it is indicated by a keyword val, which means that its value cannot be updated furthermore, and it is fixed value. So basically, we have also discussed about conditional statements, and the basic condition statement for any programming language is if else. This, if it checks if the score is less than 20, it prints low. If the else the score is less than 70, it prints medium. Else it prints high. And I have also discussed about when conditional statement. Basically, it is used when there are more if else statement. Here it checks if the value of x is 0, then endgame then it should be printed. If the value of x is 1, then move next should be printed. Otherwise, if the value of x is 2, then skip turn should be printed. So it's not only for these small statements. When there are more if else statements, like more statements, in such cases also when can be used properly. We have also discussed about classes. If you remember, I have said that class is something which holds all the common properties of a thing or anything. Here, the class, basically, a class is declared like this. First, it is indicated with the keyword class, then the name of a class is given. In this case, it is square. Then the parameters, if required, are indicated. Then this is here, as you can see, we have declared an instance of a class, that is val s is equals to square of 10. That is, we have created an object of this class so that it can access those properties of a class in the main function. Then we have also learned about list, and as I have said in previous class session, I have told that arrays in Kotlin are considered as list, and the keyword for them is list of. Similarly, set in Kotlin can be accessed by using a keyword called set of, and here the parameters of the set are indicated. Similarly, map, the keyword for map is map of, and here the keyword key and value are indicated to each other with 2 in between them. So now that we have completed the basics of and the previous recap of previous session, let's dive into today's session. Okay. Uh, as you had all previously heard or anywhere heard, like whenever we are developing Android or any apps in Android, we use Android Studio. So basically, what is Android Studio? Android Studio, it is an official tool to build Android apps. It is an official IDE which is provided by the Android developers so that we can build Android apps easily. uh, so basically, before I tell you anything about Android Studio, I'm going, since few of you had asked me yesterday like how to install Android Studio, I'll show you how to download and install Android Studio now. Then we can down more deep down into the basics of Android. Okay. First, one second. So before we begin, as I have said, and I hope all of you can see my screen. As I have said, Android Studio is the official integrated development IDE. Basically, an IDE is something which helps the developers to develop an app using it. And here the Android app development, official for Android app development, and this Android Studio is distributed by Google for Android app development. Okay. And before you develop Android Studio, you need to meet certain requirements for your system. In case of Windows and Linux, you need to have at least 4 GB of RAM. And if you don't have any RAM size less than that, then if you try to install Android Studio, then your system might crash. So if you have 4 GB of RAM, you can install Android Studio. First, I'll show you a link. One second. First, to download Android Studio, you can go to Google and search Android Studio, download and install. Once you click like this, you can click the first link. Once you click the first link, you can since this is for Windows. If your system is of Windows, you can click this. Otherwise, you can click download options, and based on your system requirements, you can select it. Okay. Since I have Android Studio already installed in my system, I'm not clicking this one. But I'll tell you what happens once you click this. the exit folder of Android Studio will be developed in the location where you have specified in the system. Once it's installed, once it's downloaded, sorry, once it is downloaded, you need to extract the application by right clicking on it. Once you extract the application, you need to double click on the application. Then you'll be required to accept few terms and conditions. After you accept terms and conditions, then your Android Studio will start installing your system. But don't get tense. This whole process might take to 20 to 30 minutes. So even though if it takes more time, then it's completely normal and it's all right. So, and also one more thing, before you install Android Studio, you need to have Kotlin installed in your system. To install Kotlin, you can also directly Google, like how I Google for Android, like download and install Kotlin, and you can click the first link. And after clicking the first link, based on your installation of Kotlin, there are no any system requirements. So based on if it is, and then you can if your system is a Windows, Linux, or Mac, so based on those requirements, you can click the Kotlin link and you can download it directly. So once you download it directly, I would like to tell you a note, that is, whenever you're using Android Studio, or like never use Google Chrome simultaneously with it, because since both of them occupy large amount of space and use lots of RAM, and they are not compatible with it. So and if you use both of them simultaneously, your system might crash. So in such cases, try to use other web browser like Internet Explorer or Mozilla Firefox or anymore. Otherwise, try to use Android Studio whenever you're not using Google Chrome. Okay. Now I have told you about Android Studio. Yeah, and there's one more thing. If you have system has 4 GB RAM, then once you install Android Studio, then you shouldn't install any emulator in your system. Basically, an emulator is a virtual device which is available in Android Studio, uh, for which using which you will run programs. Suppose if your system has 4 GB, then don't install emulator after installing Android Studio. This is because emulator occupies more space and 4 GB systems are not compatible with it. If you instead to run your programs, you can do it by taking your cell phone and you can switch on USB debugging. Once USB debugging is switched on, you can connect your cell phone to your laptop using USB wire. After it's connected, whenever you click run button, your program will be automatically run in your cell phone and you can view it there. But if you have a RAM of anything 8 GB, 12 GB, and so on, then you can happily install emulator in your system. Okay, I'll also tell you how to install emulator in the next few slides. All right. uh, Okay. As I have said, emulator is an Android device on your computer which is available in Android Studio, wherein which it helps us to run your app. So basically, to install emulator, once you write your code, on the top right of your Android Studio, there will be a run symbol. Once you click it, basically Android Studio has installed a basic version of emulator within it. So it will form your app will be directly run within it, and you will be viewing something like this on your screen, base virtual cell phone on your screen. Otherwise, if you want to change the model, you can right click on the run symbol and you will get various emulator options from which you specific and emulator specifications. And by seeing the specifications of each emulator presented over there, you can choose the emulator whichever you require. Okay. Now let's move on to next topic, user interface. Before I say anything about this, I'd like to say that, like, we whenever we use any app, like we might have been hear others talking, or we might even have talking to ourselves that the user interface of this app is very good, or the user interface of this app is very bad. So what is user interface? Basically, user interface of any app is the part of the app where the user interacts with it. Suppose, let's just say, you're holding a mobile phone in your hand and you have opened app, say WhatsApp, and you want to scroll down through the contacts in your WhatsApp. So you do it by touching with the hand, right? with your finger and scrolling, right? So this is something, the part of touching the screen with your finger and scrolling it down, it can be said that the user interface of WhatsApp. All right, I hope you understand. So this is a basic, and for any app to run successfully, it should always have a smooth user interface. Otherwise, if the app it has a rough user interface, that is like when the app gets stuck or anything like that, then it will be considered as a bad quality of app, and even the users won't be able to use it. So make sure, we have to always make sure that the apps always have a good user interface. Now, uh, before we develop anything in Android's apps in Android Studio, we need to learn about two main points. One is views and the other one is layouts. Basically, views are the building blocks or basic blocks of Android development. A view can be anything in an Android app. Suppose any text in an Android app can be considered as a view. A image can be considered as a view. A button can be considered as view. Every single detail in an app can be considered as a view. Whereas on the other hand, a layout is something which is used to align the views, so which are more presentable to the user. So we use layouts to align the views in such a way that the app is easily understandable by the users. So basically, there are different types of views. First, the one is text view, which is used to indicate any text or something like that. The other is edit text. This view, we use it whenever we require an input from the user. For example, it is like the input field of HTML tag, wherein which whenever we use that tag, we take the input from the user, right? So similarly, edit text is similar to that. So whenever we use click on edit text, we use it, asks, it allows us to take the input for the user from the user. Next, we have image view. It allows us in, basically image view is something which allows us to using which we can display images. Then we have list view, where it helps us to view anything in the form of list, and so on. These are the four main views which we generally use. And we also have button. Whenever we require a button, we generally use button view to display it. So these five are the basic views which we generally most probably will be using in any app. As I have said, text view is used. You can see here, text view is used to indicate any text like hello Android, and also image view is used to indicate an image. So also, as I have previously said that image view is used to display image, but like how will you display image in image view? So there are two ways. One is like you can directly keep the link, and the other one is you can download an image from the internet, and that image you can save it in the right side of your Android Studio. You'll have a drawable folder, so you can save this image in the drawable folder, and from there you can extract this image into the image view, and by using it you can display this image. Then you can also create any button. Just like how there are different types of views, even there are different types of layouts. The first one is a constraint layout. Basically, whenever you create and whenever you open or display any app, create any project in Android Studio, this is the default layout which will be visible in the resource file. So basically, this layout adjusts the views by certain constraints provided to it. And this layout can also be considered as the improvised version of relative layout. As I have said, a relative layout is just like constraint layout, adjusts views, a child view with respect to its parent view. The only difference is that improvised version of relative layout is constraint layout. And there is one more layout called linear layout. Whenever this layout, we use this layout like whenever we want to align views either in horizontal direction or vertical direction. So it is pretty important for us to mention the direction for these layouts. It can only use horizontal or vertical. And after this, there is one more layout called frame layout. So whenever we want to display views in the form of a frame, then we use frame layout. So I hope it's clear for you, and these are the layouts. Now I'm going to show you how to, once you install Android Studio, how to create your first project. Okay. Once you install your Android Studio, you can click on the Android Studio icon, and once you click on the icon, I'll, okay. Once you click on, one second, I'll keep it in slideshow so it will be visible for you. Once you click on the Android Studio icon, it will open and it will look something like this. Sorry. It will look something like this, and you will have various options here. One is to start a new Android Studio project, and or to open an existing Android Studio project, or to check out project from version control, or profile or debug APK, import project, or import an Android code example. So I'm going to now explain what each of these do. As you all know, start a new project, Android Studio project, it is used to start a new Android project. And if you want to open an already existing Android Studio project from your system, then you can click this one, open an existing project. Then it will direct you to a direct files. We're asking for the location of the project. Once you enter the location of the project, you can open it. And if you want to change the version control of the project or check out the project from the version control, then you can use this. If you want to debug any APK or any APK related issues, then you can use this. And if you want to import other projects from Eclipse or Gradle or other IDEs, then you can use this. Or if you want to generally import an Android sample code from Android developers official, then you can use this. So basically now, since I'm telling about how to start a new Android Studio project. So first you have to click initially to start a new Android Studio project. You have to click here. Once you click here, you will be asked to select a project template. So based on the requirement, you can always select your project template. Basically, you can, if your project requires any bottom navigation activity, you can select this. Or if you require a full screen mode, you can select this. If you require a login mode, you can select this, and so on, right? But if you ask me, it is always better to select empty activity, because empty activity allows us to, when compared to all these other activities, allows us to make changes to the template, and it also allows us to add more designs and to the template, and it is more flexible when compared to all these template. The drawback is that of these templates is that, suppose first you decide, whenever you start an app, you decide that you want a bottom navigation activity from the starting, so you click this app. But so you click this bottom navigation activity, but halfway through the activity you realize that rather than having a navigation bar at bottom, it is better to have it at side. But since you already click this template, you won't sorry now, since you already clicked this template, you won't have a chance to change the navigation activity from bottom to left side. In other case, if you click an empty activity, and you can write, if you write a code, you can, if you want a bottom navigation activity, you can also write a code for it. And if you feel that it's not necessary, then you can just change it to right navigation by changing the simple code. So that's why I always suggest that use empty activity initially. Once you select the empty activity, you need to configure your project. First, you need to give the name of your project. In this case, I'm just saying I want happy birthday. Next, you need to give a package name. Then you need to select the location where your projects will be stored. And then you always don't forget to select the language Kotlin, because by default, Android Studio might show the language as Java. So you need to remember that you need to change the language to Kotlin, because without changing this, if you click finish and if you try to write Kotlin code in that one, then it will not work and it will throw errors. And you have something called as minimum SDK. So basically, what is minimum SDK? As you can see here, it is API 16 Android 4.1. Basically, it indicates that any devices having Android version from 4.1 to latest version. So in those devices only will this app work. So for it to work in most of the devices, it is suggestible to select API 19. It has an accuracy of 99.8. So always select that. And once you configure your project, click here finish. And once you finish your project, your screen will look something like this. And by default, Android Studio will have some code. So, and I have indicated here 1 2 3, right? So basically, what is this? Basically, this one first field which I have indicated here is a project window which shows the all the necessary folders of your project here. And whenever you want to navigate through any of your window, you can click this folders here, and then you can navigate within your project. Then two is the editing window, wherein which you will get to edit a window. And it shows what's new in the app, and it also shows helpful tips for Android Studio, like how to operate Android Studio or new hints or any new updates. But if you feel irritated, you can minimize this window by clicking the minimize symbol, and you can also click minimize this window by clicking the minimize symbol, and you can have hold this. And as I have also said, that there will be a run button, right? In when I discussed about emulator. Wait, let me show you. At the top of your Android Studio, this is the run button. And as you can see, by default, when you open an Android Studio, you will have a default emulator like this. So when you click like this, the default emulator, that is Pixel 2 API, will run, and you will have an emulator wherein which your app will be played. But in case if you want to change your emulator, you can click this down arrow, wherein which you will get multiple choices, and from that you can change those. But remember that this emulator can be only used by those who have a RAM of 8 GB. Anyone having a RAM of less than 8 GB in their system, they have to switch on the USB debugging mode in the mobile and connect their mobile to their laptop or system through USB. And after connecting it, once their program is finished, they can directly click this run button, and then their program will be automatically run in their mobile phone. Okay, and it is not necessary that anyone who's having a RAM of 8 GB should compulsorily use this emulator. They can also use their own mobile phone by switching on USB debugging, like just like how I said just now. But it is compulsory for persons who are having systems with RAM less than 8 GB, because otherwise your system might crash completely and you need to give it to rebooting. Set it right. Okay. uh, Now, uh, now let's talk a bit more deep about views and layouts. As I have said previously, there are three main types of layouts. Layouts are also known as view groups. So first one is frame layout. As you can see, the text view is something which indicates the text. It necessarily doesn't mean it has to be text. It can be hello world or how are you, hi, Android Studio, anything. So as you can see, frame layout displays the text view in the form of frame, like how it displays here. And linear layout displays the text view. This is a vertical linear layout, hence the all the text view and views are displayed one after the other. If it is a horizontal linear layout, then all these text views will be displayed right side next to each other. And then it's a constraint layout. Based on the constraints provided here, the views are divided. So I hope. And one more thing, uh, basically this is how you declare layouts. In On the right side, that is, I'll show you the screen here again. Here I told you that you can select your folders, right? You have something called resource folder. Upon clicking it, whenever you first install your Android Studio or open an Android Studio project, by default it will look something like this, and when you run it, you will print like this. So basically, what is this? This is a resource file, is an XML page, and this XML page is responsible for the front end of the Android Studio. So basically, the front end of Android Studio is here. You, as I have said, that here by default it has text view. If you first, I'll explain what is there inside this. Then you can apply the same for edit text, list view, and button, and so on. So first, you can see inside the text view there is something called Android text. Basically, this part is used to indicate the text which is going to be displayed in the text view. Since we are displaying hello world, it is also here we want to display hello world. It is like it will display like this in the emulator, and here we want to display hello world. The word hello world is written here, and as you can see, this part, these two, basically Android width and layout width and layout height are something which is used to define the width and height of the text which is being displayed in text view. And as you can see, I have mentioned something as wrap content and wrap content, right? Basically, there are two ways of indicating layout width and layout height in Android Studio. One is either by using wrap content or match parent. Otherwise, we can directly indicate the dimensions like 20, 30 or something, how much ever we require. Basically, what is wrap content and match parent? Wrap content is like something which uses the required space which is of the view so that it is properly visible to the users. Whereas the match parent is, we use match parent whenever we require the view to take up the whole space of the mobile screen display. So based on the situations, whenever we require whatever we require, we need to use this. Ideally, I suggest use wrap content for those both of these. Otherwise, you can mention dimensions. Otherwise, in case if you want to mention any headings or something, in such cases for width and height, based on your requirement, you can use match parent. Now, I have told you about the basics of Android Studio and how things work in the front end of Android, right? So let's discuss about the anatomy of basic app project. So any basic Android Studio app will have these basic requirements. First one is activity, resources, Android manifest.xml, Gradle files. Basically, what is activity? In the previous file, as I have said that, oh yeah, I forgot to mention also, this is for text view. For edit text, you have to change this text view tag to edit text. And after changing this, instead of text, you can write ID and leave it blank so that it will provide a, here instead of this Android text for edit text, you instead of text view you can change it to edit text, and here instead of Android text you can remove this and write it as Android ID and leave this as blank, that is empty inverted commas. Then it will or you can indicate anything like, sorry, you shouldn't leave it blank, but you should assign a ID to it, that is like at the, you should it can be indicated by at the rate followed by the name of the ID, so that the using this ID the users will be able to give input to in the edit text. See, in the similar way for text view and button also you can use Android text. Only for edit text use ID. Basically, this is for front end, but this front end to look, this is front. If you want your pro app to look static, then this Android layer, this resource file.xml will be enough. But if you want your app to be dynamic, then you require something called as activity class. So basically, activity class is used as to make the app dynamic. You need to create class objects in the activity class and relate those class objects with the uh, relate those class objects with the IDs of the layouts, or I mean IDs of the views in the layouts in resource.xml file. So as I have said just now, activity class is used to create class objects and to make the app look more dynamically. Then the second anatomy of basic app project is resource file. Basically, resource.xml is used to have consist of layouts, images, strings, themes, etc. Then we have Android manifest.xml. So basically, what is Android.manifest.xml is that it is an XML file which consists of all the important files of your Android project. And you should also have Gradle files. These are also the important part of your Gradle files. I mean, important details of your Gradle files. It consists of all the system requirements, specifications, and all. So basically, these two are very important for your Android app. For your to run properly, because see, if even if your code is proper and everything is correct, but these two are have some errors within it, then your code will not run properly. So I'll explain about these two in the next session, that is tomorrow at 6 p.m. So don't forget it. Now this is the, sorry, and in the, as I have said that from starting, I mean since yesterday session 1, I've been saying that in Android study jams you'll get to develop various apps. So these are the basic apps which you'll get to develop in new to programming language. First one is a rice roller app. Whenever you click this, the rice will roll. Next one is an about me app. Next one is a color my views app. In the prior programming experience track, you'll get to develop a quiz app, restaurant app, and many more so on. So don't miss them, and also try to complete these by 25th of next month. And for building an app, you shouldn't submit me the app code of apps which you have developed in your Android study jams. Instead, you should have to submit me other apps which you have developed on your own. And also you can form groups if you require, or you can develop individually for you to be, but for you to be eligible for the certificate, you have to submit me the screenshots of your developer profile badges by 25th of next month, and also submit me the code of an app which is not a part of Android study jams by 25th of next month. And these are the basic resources which you can learn Android study jams. I mean basics of Android and Kotlin. I'll share this to you once again. So this is it for the session. This is it for this session. I hope all of you had understand. And if in case if you guys have any queries, you can post them in the comment section. I will try to answer them. Okay, if you guys also have any queries, you can also post them on Discord, or you can contact me personally. And also, guys, tomorrow at 6 p.m. we are going to have the last and final session of Android Study Jams. After this, as I have been repeatedly saying, you'll be given a time, and you need to start it immediately through the link which I have shown you yesterday. And after starting it immediately, you need to complete it and send me the screenshot of your developer profile, and also your code of your app. So this is it for this session. Thank you.